Most people think walking burns fat the same way no matter when you do it, but timing changes everything. So today, I'm breaking down the best times to walk for fat loss, building up to the most important one in the end, which is why you won't want to miss that one. To start, I'm going to explain whether you should walk every day or just spread your walking sessions out throughout the week. Imagine there are two people who are walking the same amount. One walks 5 to 6 days each week, and on most days, they're able to get a 30-minute walk in. And then the other person waits until they have enough time to go for a 60-minute longer walk, which means they only walk 2 to 3 days a week. So they don't walk as many days, but they walk for longer periods of time in each session. So on paper, the amount of exercises that each of these two people gets looks almost identical. It works out to be about the same number of minutes each week, but inside their bodies, those weeks behave very differently. Here's why. Every walk sends your body a signal saying, hey, we're doing something healthy now. Get ready to burn fat. And your metabolism listens. For a few hours, it shifts gears and works more efficiently. But if that signal only shows up a couple times a week, your body doesn't know what to make of it. It treats it like a random event. On the other hand, if you send the signal again the next day, and then the next day, suddenly your metabolism understands, oh, this is who we are now. Once it recognizes the pattern, it naturally becomes better at burning fat for energy. So if possible, be like the first person in our example, walk on more days. Ideally, if you can get it in 5 to 6 days each week, you will lose more fat than if you tried to cram all your walking into just 2 or 3 days a week, even when the total amount of exercise is exactly the same. So now you know how many days you should be walking each week, but how often should you walk during the day? If your goal is fat loss, should you do one long walk or 2 shorter walks? Believe it or not, researchers have actually tested this. They had one group take a single 50-minute walk each day, and then the other group took 2 25-minute walks. Same total minutes, same pace, same effort. Both groups walked for exactly 50 minutes. And on paper, it looked like the same workout. But here's where the difference showed up. When you only walk once, your metabolism flips on and then gradually slows down for the rest of the day, sinking lower and lower the longer you sit around. But when you walk a second time later in the day, you wake your metabolism back up right when it's at its weakest point. That second activation keeps your fat burning from slowing down as much, giving your body another opportunity to reach for fat as fuel. And those interruptions, they add up. When researchers measured what happened over time, the group who split their walking into 2 sessions didn't just report feeling better during the day, they actually lost 26% more fat than the group that did all of the walking at one time in one session. So if you're trying to lose fat, try splitting your walk into 2 daily sessions. Next, let's talk about whether you should walk before or after eating a meal. There's actually a window during the day when your body becomes extremely reactive to whatever you just ate. It happens right after eating. And the next few minutes determines whether that meal gives you steady energy or becomes more likely to be stored as fat on your body. Most people feel it without even realize what's going on. That afternoon slump, the lull after eating lunch or after eating dinner, where you suddenly start feeling drowsy, your energy dips. This happens because internally your blood sugar is climbing and your body is working fast to control it. It will usually climb for about 30 to 60 minutes after you finish eating, and the taller that peak gets, the longer insulin stays elevated trying to manage it. And the longer insulin stays elevated, the longer your body stores that meal as fat. Fortunately, there's something simple that you can do that shortens that window. When you stand up and start walking, even for a short amount of time, your muscles start pulling sugar out of your bloodstream on their own. They don't wait for insulin. They don't need a big workout. They just need some movement. And that small shift changes the entire shape of your blood sugar curve after you eat. In addition, it also helps you feel more alert after your meal. So if you want to minimize the amount of fat your body stores after lunch or after dinner, especially if it's not very healthy, and you want to feel more energized throughout the day, try to walk during the first 5 to 20 minutes after eating. You don't need a full workout. Just a short walk is enough to change the way your body processes the meal. If you can, just aim for 5 to 10 minutes. Even just 2 to 3 minutes is better than nothing. The key is to catch that early window right after eating. Next, I'm going to share the number one time to walk for fat loss. But real quick, if you are enjoying this video so far, be sure to like it and hit the subscribe button. Doing so helps get this information to more people who need to hear it, and it'll make sure that you see more videos like this in the future. All right, that brings us to number 4, the most powerful fat burning window of all. It happens the first thing in the morning, before the first blood sugar rise and before the demands of the day kick in. During this early window, your metabolism is running in a calm, steady state. It's very different from the rest of the day. It's because when you wake up, you're coming off hours of natural fasting. So there's no real meal in your system affecting your blood sugar, your insulin isn't active, and your glycogen, your stored sugar, is lower than it will be at any other point in the day. That means your muscles don't have access to an easy fuel source. So they're ready to reach deeper and start pulling from stored fat. And if you go for a walk, that's exactly what happens. Not only that, when you start to exercise in a fasted state, first thing in the morning, it improves your insulin sensitivity by as much as 25%. That means your body uses less insulin after you eat a meal, and less insulin means less fat. Plus, there is a bonus benefit of walking first thing in the morning. Sunlight hits receptors in your eyes, even if it's in a colder period or a colder season of the year, and it resets your circadian rhythm. That's your body's internal clock. That reset helps control your hunger cues, keeps your cortisol rhythm steadier, and it supports better sleep quality at night. All of these changes stack on top of each other. Lower insulin, lower glycogen, better hormone rhythm, and a body that's primed to use stored fat for fuel the moment you start moving. When researchers finally measured the difference between walking during this window versus walking later in the day, the results were dramatic. People who walked first thing in the morning burned as much as 57% more fat from the same walk. And the fat burning effect continued for hours after. So here's how to use this window. Within the first hour of waking, get outside or step onto a treadmill and walk before you eat. 10 to 20 minutes taps into this state. 30 to 60 minutes amplifies it, and a comfortable, steady pace is all you need to see results. Without a doubt, it is the number one time to walk if you're trying to lose fat. Now, once you start walking at the right time, the next step is getting more fat burning power out of every step you take. In my other video, I break down 8 simple walking hacks that turn an ordinary walk into a fat burning routine without adding extra time or effort. You will learn one trick that can increase the amount of calories you burn by as much as 50% for the same number of steps, an interval method that triggers an afterburn that helps to burn fat up to 48 hours after the walk, and the upgrade that can burn more than twice the fat of a flat walk without running a single step. If you want walking to work harder for you, this is the next video you need. I'll include a link to it here. Click to watch it, and I'll see you there next.